I'd like to welcome all of you today to Scott's Celebration of Life Memorial Service. My name is Kira Novelli. Carol Rollinger is my legal name, and I am a very good friend of Scott's. I've shared a lot of the journey or journeys of his life with him. So this is a day of really celebrating Scott. A little bit of background. Scott was born King's Hospital in Brooklyn, February 13th, 1959. His legal name is Scott Andrew Moss. His Hebrew name is Shlomo, and his name at Ananda Ashram is Kamala Kanta. So most people here at Ananda know him as interspersed Scott or Kamala Kanta. Scott came to Ananda at the age of 18. He had a very nice family. He loved his parents, he loved his sisters. At 18, he was ready for the first journey and exploration, and he came to Ananda with a friend, Stephen Gollenbeck, and they got involved in gardening the land, but most importantly, they met Gurji, Sri Brahmananda Saraswati, then Dr. Mishra, the spiritual teacher of Ananda Ashram. They met him, it pretty obviously was meant to be, because Scott pretty much lived his life at Ananda, in service, never salaried, but in service at Ananda Ashram, out of his heart, his huge heart. So from that part of his life, coming at 18, he really loved the spiritual teachings of Gurji. And he got involved in the politics at Ananda. He served on the board. Gurji left his body in 1993. Scott was president of the Board of Trustees in 1993. So he already, at even a young age, that many years ago, was very immersed in what this is all about. And so he had many roles. He later became the vice president for many, many years. And then these last years, he's currently been the treasurer, handling the accounting, the monies at Ananda. So he did that with being a doctor at the same time. He loved chiropractic, but he loved, I think, as much or more the kinesiology that he did, the muscle testing that he did on his patients. Very profound work. He had a gift. He truly had a gift. So I see, or many patients have come up to me letting me know their names, that they're here, so there'll be a chance if they would like to say something. Scott has had a marvelous life. When I said in the beginning about many journeys, he was a world traveler, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, we took many journeys that just kind of, many pilgrimages to India, and always very welcome in the home of Yogi Karve. And that was a part of our life. And You know, in 2012, all of the talk on the Mayan calendar about the world could end or whatever, I were in the top of Machu Picchu in Peru. That sort of still worked in with all the scheduling of the office and Ananda. With a Judaism background, we went to Auschwitz for a week. We flew into Warsaw. He wanted to get a much deeper feeling and meaning of Auschwitz, of what happened. And so, again, we flew into Warsaw, then went to Auschwitz on a bus. We stayed there a week, learning many things. Scott loved consciousness, and in whatever, any way he could learn, he was exploring, learning, and loving. He had a huge, huge heart for everybody. Pets, animals, everybody. So I would like to first introduce Scott's sisters, Brandy and Erica, and their husbands. Brandy, you want to go first? This is Scott's older sister Brandy, and this is his sister Erica.
Sure. So I'm going to read because over the last couple of weeks, actually since July 24th when Scott passed away, I had to spend a lot of time thinking about him and how quickly this happened and how unprepared I was for this loss. So I'm going to speak first and then Erica's going to speak. This is my husband, Artie, Scott's brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, Mark, Scott's other brother-in-law. And I've written this quite a few times. I hope it reads the way I've meant for it to read. So the loss of my brother Scott has left a gaping hole in my heart. His passing was without warning, and that has made it so much harder for me. My time with him was unfinished, and there was still so much more to say, so much more to talk about, and so much more to share. Scott was an amazing, wonderful, supportive brother, a terrific son, a terrific brother-in-law, nephew, cousin, uncle, and friend, as many of you know. He was an amazing friend and chiropractor. He loved his family unconditionally and would go to great lengths to offer them healing and comfort and love because that was his gift. Scott and I were just 18 months apart, and we were really lucky kids. And of course, when baby Erica came along, she was 10 years for him, 11 years for me. We were overjoyed to have a third in our group, and I remember either my dad or mom holding her up from the hospital window because we had just come home from camp so we could get to see baby Erica. We grew up with hardworking and loving parents, and our parents were leaders in the community. Mom was president of the PTA, and Dad was president of the Professional Photographers Association. And I think that is maybe where Scott learned some of his leadership skills, I think, although he had very innate talents. Our parents loved to travel, and we would take road trips, wrestling in the back of the car because seatbelts were not required then. Mom played the piano and guitar, and we would have sing-alongs in our house. Our mother documented everything with photographs, and we would spend time going through them and reminiscing and talking about the trip or the family or our family's history, going as far back as great-grandparents. And we have everything, albums and albums. I love the photos of Scott and me in our aunt's farm in New Jersey. We were dirty from chasing chickens and playing in the mud, so everything about our lives is in our own family history book. Scott was a wonderful photographer and worked in the family business with our parents and aunts and uncles and cousins because everybody was welcome if they didn't have a job in our family. Our family went to the theater and the ballet and celebrated holidays with huge crowds because there was always a seat at the table. Even if my mother was sick, there was always a seat. And we hosted family gatherings at our summer house, but the only requirement was you had to get on the tractor and mow the lawn in the excruciating heat, because it was a little tiny house, but the lawn was huge, and we couldn't mow it by hand. We had to get on a tractor. Artie even painted the house once. Later, we traveled with our aunts and uncles and cousins, Carol, Alan, Brad, and Evan, to many places as a family: Disney, Mexico, Florida. Family was a very important part of our upbringing in life, and that is how we became close and connected. Our mom loved to read and share art books and stories with us. Education was really important. We didn't have to get the A's, we just had to get a good education. And I have memories of my mom reading Moby Dick to us on our blue sofa in the living room. And these are the moments that shaped our childhood with warmth and with love. Scott had so many friends on our blocks. We had triplets on the block. We had twins on the block. I don't know what was going on in those days. We played in the street until the sun went down. We were cold. We played football, tag. We rode bikes. They did, the boys, and baseball. And in the winter, we would bundle up because we would get a lot of snow then, and we would build igloos and have lots of laughs and snowball fights. Scott began his path of self-discovery here at the Ashram at a very young age, as Carol had said, and he stayed deeply rooted here for over 40 years. Some of this, I don't think Eric and I really were so aware of, the depth of his connection to the Ashram. Practicing yoga and meditation, that's what we kind of thought this was all about. Walking tightropes and embracing and studying life with depth and curiosity. He studied Middle Eastern healing and traveled to India to study and to learn and to gain enlightenment, and was an active and devoted member of this community and served as a dedicated board member. He showed amazing commitment to the ashram, and this was his family and his home. Later, he became a chiropractor, blending his education with his holistic approach to healing. He helped countless people. Probably many of you are in this room, including myself and Erica and Artie. Did he ever work on you? And Mark. Not only easing their pain in their bodies, but also bringing peace to their hearts and their minds. His presence alone was healing. Scott, I will miss you every day for the rest of my life. I will carry your smile, your touch, your laugh, your kindness, your spirit, and light in my heart always. You are my brother and dear friend, and I am so grateful for every moment that we had together. I love you. And now, dear Scott, I say a sad goodbye. Your spirit is woven into the heart of this ashram, a place you loved and nurtured for so many years. Goodbye, sweet brother. Shalom and Om Shanti. Okay.
How do I follow that? Yeah, I had to write mine down too, because I have found this to be so overwhelming that unless I can follow my own script, my brain is a little broken. So if you don't mind, can you hold my glasses, because I need them to see you and not this. Namaste. My name is Erica, and I'm Scott's sister. It's an honor to be here with you today in this sacred place that meant so much to him, a place that nurtured his spirit, his questions, his devotion, and his peace. Scott walked through this world with a rare kind of presence, a kind that you could feel before he said a word. He had a gift for healing, for holding space, for people being felt, seen, and loved, whether he was just offering his hands in silence or his thoughts in deep conversation. You always left him feeling a little more whole. He was devoted to his teachers, to his practice, to his inner work. He didn't just study wisdom, he embodied it. He honored tradition even as he forged his own spiritual path. And he was very, very generous in every way, with his time, his heart, his energy, his healing. If he could lift you, he would. If he could share what he'd learned, he did. There's a phrase in the Jewish tradition that we say when someone passes, Yehi Zichro Baruch. May his memory be a blessing. But it's not just something we say to be polite. It's a deep teaching. It reminds us that a life well lived leaves behind more than grief. It leaves a vibration, a blessing that continues through each of us. And I really feel that with Scott. Being here today, surrounded by the teachings and the community that meant so much to him, I'm struck by how deeply our traditions actually speak to one another. In both the Jewish path and the yogic path, there's a reverence for stillness, for seeking, for the sacredness of breath and word and silence. Both speak of kavanah, intention, of aligning our hearts with our actions. Both honor our ancestors, teachers, and the mystery that lies beyond what we can name. Scott lived in that space, between the known and the unknowable, between laughter and deep listening, between rootedness and transcendence. He had a big, beautiful soul, and he brought that soul fully to every circle he touched. And what we've learned is that he has touched so many circles. So while I grieve for my brother, and I also stand here in gratitude for the love he gave, the healing he offered, and the path he walked with such authenticity, I know he felt deeply at home here, and for that our family is forever thankful. May we each carry a piece of his light forward in how we love, how we serve, how we show up for each other, and how we keep seeking. May his memory be a blessing. May his spirit continue to ripple outward, and may peace be upon him and all of us. Om Shanti. Thank you. Amen.
Next, Saraswati, Tracy Verma, we're going to do Scott's close connection with the Ashram family.
Thank you so much for coming. I just want to take a picture of the precious people in this room. Is that okay for everybody? It's phenomenal to see this turnout of love and devotion. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I just, for my kids that aren't here, for all the people that couldn't be here, oh man, that's really something. So many beautiful souls are here. I'm going to have to improvise because I can't get access to all the beautiful letters people sent me when I, as corresponding secretary to the ashram, announced immediately to our voting members that our dear Scott had just passed away. I got such beautiful responses from people, most especially from Marvin Suval, who's one of our founding members who lives out in California. He wrote such a beautiful thing, and I can't access it. So I'm sorry, Marvin, if you're watching, if we're on Facebook Live. I'm sorry that I can't read that. I'll have to find a way to share it with you. So I'll just say that when I posted on my personal Facebook page, when I saw the response coming from all the people at the ashram, we're all here because we have so much love for your dear brother, for our dear brother. And we are connected as family, all of us, under our beautiful teacher. So thank you all for coming. Thank you, all of you who sustained this beautiful ashram. I will go a little out on the edge here and say that we started a memorial fund in Scott's memory, which is on the anandaashram.org website. I believe that is up and running. So if you feel moved to make a donation in his memory, I think I am called upon to do that and say we would be most appreciative of that at this time. We have some wonderful projects we want to finish up, especially the beautiful Shanti Sadanam, the building directly behind this. It was Scott that spearheaded that building, replacing the old chicken coop where I lived for 6 years with my young family, and now it's a beautiful building. Thanks to him, we want to finish that. We have a whole floor to finish, so we'd like to see that manifest as an outcome of our devotion to this place. I will say that Scott took the wedding pictures for me and my late husband, Rup Verma, down on the island 42 years ago, and I was so busy getting ready to come here that I didn't get a chance to go through my old photo albums and bring them with him as photographer in the back behind all those pictures. What can I say? Come and speak your hearts if we have time. We have a video we wanted to share. We have slides we wanted to share. It depends on what we're going to be able to pull up with our limited bandwidth here. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Blessings to everyone. May Scott's heart and love for us all and for this place continue to move us forward in our lives closer to our feeling of connection to the divinity that we each are. Thank you.
Slide first, then they should play some music. So, okay. You want me to play the video? I can play the video. Yeah, doesn't matter, right? Okay, well, hold on. Okay. I don't know. You tell me what you want me to do. Yeah, we'll hold on that right now. Okay, I guess I was asked to come up, so I'm happy to. Okay, so my name is Bonnie Freierick, and I would like to share this. I'll also read. So Scott was one of the first ashram friends that I met while meditating in the main house about 28 years ago. We seemed to have an instant connection and a familiar feeling like we had known each other a long time before. Over the years, I witnessed and experienced Scott's heart of gold, love, kindness, devotion, and generosity over and over again, not just in our relationship, but in all of his relationships. He exuberated these traits and gifts with his family, which he adored, enjoyed, and valued deeply. Then with that same light and love, Scott seemed to view the ashram as his North Star. He served as an inspiring leader at Ananda Ashram, both as a board member and manager for decades. And in doing so, he provided stability and at the same time inspiration for Ananda to blossom as a center of transformation. Scott also enjoyed honoring his Jewish roots through various celebrations like Shabbat and other holidays, especially through song both on and off the ashram. In terms of his profession, I was one of hundreds of his chiropractic patients for 28 years who experienced him as a gifted healer. I regularly would say after a treatment, Scott, you are a fantastic healer, and I feel better like immediately. Thank you. He was so well trained in various holistic systems of healing while combining traditional chiropractic treatment, which many of you know who have experienced that. And these are just a few aspects of Scott as a divine soul, family member, friend, leader, and healer that we were all so blessed to have experienced. To Scott, may you be an inspiration for us, and you will be missed very much. I wish you a journey of freedom, peace, and abundant blessings. You will always be in my heart. Thank you.
So, any other ashram friends are sure welcome to come up and say anything. Whose hand? Dave, absolutely, yes. Dave Washburn, come on. I would bring it to you, but it won't go that far.
Somebody to hold me, not up, but just spot me. You could, thank you. Okay, where's the microphone? Hello, everybody. Thank you. So, when Scott arrived, one of his first karma yoga responsibilities was becoming my assistant in the organic garden here at Ananda. And he also was a gifted, what they call apiculturist. He worked on the beehives with me as well, making honey. So we became extremely close. Close isn't a profound enough word. I believe it was at the end of the second summer, him working around the garden and around the ashram on buildings and grounds with me and my dear friend Karmananda. He came to me and he said, "This has been wonderful, learning organic gardening, learning beekeeping, but I feel I need something more." And it was our guru who gave me the words to turn to Scott and say, "Have you thought about chiropractic? I think that would be very good for you." I was pre-med and dropped out to become a hippie. And I guess I had some leftover karma that maybe I could help someone become what I couldn't. Not that I missed anything. So he ended up going to chiropractic school. He first checked with Brahmananda and said, "What do you think? Here's what my garden teacher is telling me, maybe I should think about chiropractic." And Brahmananda gave him the heads up approval, and that started his career. A number of years later, I was in a very serious car accident. And Scott had always been my chiropractor. And he took me from a person with, every few months I was bedridden with my back pain ever since I was a boy. I didn't know what I had, but he helped me discover I had what was called military spine. He discovered that. He said, "You lack the proper curves in your back." And so he started treating me. And so I had this accident, and I was getting quite a bit better. I very rarely had back spasms where I was laid up for days. But Scott was an amazing healer. Not just a chiropractor, but a healer. And so I had a very severe accident. I had 3 vertebrae pushed into my spinal cord just a little bit, like a little dent in my cervical region. And I had a lower vertebrae separated about 3/4 of an inch, exposing my lower spinal cord also. So people said, don't ever ride a bike again. You know, all these specialists that I went to. But Scott took me on, and the most amazing thing happened. While being on his chiropractic table, and he couldn't do, neck adjustments or back. He did that tapping on me, and he just did magic. And on his chiropractic table, I would fall asleep. And in that sleep, one time I had a dream. And in that dream, I was flying through space, and I ended up in Sullivan County. Not too far. I didn't go to the moon. But I ended up in Sullivan County looking down in these beautiful woods, which, later on I mapped that whole county. Looking down, and I heard. So I felt like Hanuman when I came back, flying away up the mountain. But no, I went up there, and I heard a voice say, Black Cohosh. So remember, he's treating me for severely damaged. And I came back, woke up, and I looked up at him, and he's looking down at me. Where'd you go? And I said, Black Cohosh. And he said, what are you talking about? That's for menstrual problems. I said, well, I'll look in some of the herbals. It might be for something else, like my damaged spinal cord, and I couldn't use my left arm for over a year.
Oh my God.
Well, I used to carry it in a sling that he helped me make. So the miracle began. I just kept saying Black Cohosh, and he said, it doesn't make sense. But I started taking it every day, and I take it to this day. And it wasn't Culpepper's herbal or any of the famous ones, but in a very unknown herbal, which I would look for and collect every time I went to a library maybe in the city. I found a reference that Black Cohosh was for this type of severe pain and this type of damage. So I've taken it almost every day since that event on Scott's treatment table. And he treated me gratis for years, forever, his whole life. I never had to, I tried offering him money, he wouldn't take it. So, on his chiropractic table, the miracles kept occurring. And I couldn't use my left arm for 4 or 5 years. But it got better and better and better. He taught me about, which our guru taught me as well, sun meditation. So every day when it was sunny out, I laid in the sun under Scott's direction with what I called the turtle pose. I made it up with my vertebrae exposed directly to the sun. And our guru, I used to lay next to him when he would heal himself by laying in the sun. So it's like a little bit of a transfusion. And lo and behold, I'm almost done with this, it's extensive, but years later, when I got the use of my arm back, you know, and I learned from a very well-known Tai Chi teacher how to develop my spinalis muscles. They run up and down the spine. And he taught me to strengthen them, and Scott approved. I strengthened my spinalis muscles, which held the damaged vertebrae off of my spinal cord. This is all with Scott's. Not many people know this story. So he was such a healer. He was so supportive. He was a magician. And later on, when I was working for the military, removing landmines in Kuwait, I met a chief surgeon. I'm almost done. Thanks for listening. Chief surgeon, he heard me telling this part of this story on the airplane. And he came back, he's dressed in whites, and he said, I'm listening to your story. I'm a spinal surgeon. And I know what happened. Why you got your arm working and all that. He said, you developed secondary pathways. You had nerves that were damaged which couldn't be rebuilt, even with Guru's grace, apparently. But what you did, laying in the sun and all the exercises that came to you through Scott and intuition, you kind of rebuilt that part of your nervous system. Because your primary nerves that would run this arm are damaged and almost useless, but your secondary nerves have taken over. So this is what Scott, Guru, Grace, and a little bit of me cooperating performed a miracle. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody else? Come on. Okay. Where's Elizabeth? Wait.
Do you want to put that in there?
I got Marvin's email.
You got it.
Hi. I'm Elizabeth. I've known Scott for a long time, real long time. Definitely, I'm sorry. Definitely considered him a good friend. The first time I ever went to him for treatment, though, was about 20 years ago, or more, could be. And I had 3 herniated discs in my lower back. It was in real bad shape. And I've spoken of, he made my back, honestly, good as new. Taught yoga for many, many years after that, no problem, great health. And about 6 months ago, I called his office, and I went in, and I said to him, listen, you have to fix this again. And this time I pointed to my whole body. I told that. And he looked at me, and I said, well, I've been to quite a few days after Christmas. I said I woke up, and I was not able to lift my arm higher than that. I was barely able to walk. I said, tons of doctors and blood and you name it. They tell me I have this PMR thing, whatever that is, never heard of it. It's actually a rheumatoid in the big joints. And I said, they want me to take all kinds of medicine. And the icing on the cake, by the way, was thyroid is way up there over the roof, and they want you on that now, too, immediately. I told them all, no, thank you. I'd never been on medication. And by the way, I'm not saying this is correct or not correct. I don't know what is. I have no idea. But I said to them, listen, I have never been on medication in my entire life, and I just didn't want to start right now. And I've been very, very lucky my whole life. Never had a flu, never got COVID, none of that stuff. So I'm very lucky. Scott listened, more than listening. such respect. That's the word I want to use in regards to Scott. He respected me and my thoughts on things. Like, you can't even believe. I mean, the doctors, they were like furious with me almost. You'll be sorry. You don't know what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, point is, 6 months later, I mean, I don't know what to do to prove it. I could do a little song and dance, and honestly, yeah, I don't know what to say besides that. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. I just want to conclude with this little quote that's been on my refrigerator for many, many years, and like so many things we take for granted, I probably walked by it for quite a few years now without even looking at it, but it really caught my eye recently, and it's by Swami Vivekananda. And the quote is, if you've heard it maybe, "If you are poor, work. If you are rich, work. If you are burdened with seemingly unfair responsibilities, work. If disappointments come, work. If sorrow overwhelms you and loved ones seem not true, work. If health is threatened, work. When dreams are shattered and hope seems dead, work. Work as if your life is in peril. It really is. No matter what ails you, work. Work faithfully, work in faith. Work is the great remedy available for both mental and physical afflictions." And I just want to say, obviously you can interpret that however you like. To me, the instruction was continue, just continue as best you can. And that's what we're going to try to do, I think, here. Thank you.
Technical miracle, I got Marvin Suval's letter. Dear friends, I want to add my voice to the many others to pay homage to a sweet, sincere truth seeker. When Kamala Kanta was vice president of the Yoga Society and I was president, we spent over 12 years meeting every Saturday afternoon to review the status and future of things at Ananda Ashram. Kamala Kanta was a doer, as most of you know. He would figure out how to balance the needs of the people and the ashram with the philosophy, keeping the guru always in sight. There was no task he did not undertake for the sake of others. He was a true friend. I will miss him in the form I knew him, even knowing that he is moving ahead on the path. Love to all. Dharma Deva.
Thanks, friends. My name is Satyanarayan Charkha. I am from India. Last 44 years I am staying in the ashram as a resident. So from the very beginning when I came 1980s, I the first one met Scott Maas, Kamala Kanta as a young man, and he just, I think he was in a college, he was finishing and he was trying to do some of that, but he was very much associated with Guruji, and that was the time I myself and there was a musician who, I'm a dancer, so there was a musician, his name is Roop Vermaji. So, and Maureen, Vimala and Kamala Kanta, we used to be four good friends together. So we became good friends, and it was wonderful to share many things. And my life grown like that. I focused my teachings of Indian dancing here at the ashram. So my teachings, my guru encouraged me a lot to do all the programs and teachings of Indian culture. When I was doing, I highlighted the Ramayana and Krishna Lila. These are some of my popular productions. So here I am telling about myself. He used to join me anywhere, not only other cultures, but he is very much, I feel, he was very much with Indian culture. He was very, very close. And I, when I was doing the programs, he joined me, not only just helping all the production side, but he himself taken the part of the main character in Rama, as a Rama. Rama is the Indian epic story, which is the God incarnation on earth to teach. So to destroy the evils and become a very divine example for the human being. So he liked that character, so he did many times we presented him as a Ram. So he was such a dynamic personality, he was such a graceful, and is the perfect person to do that's a divine character. So I was very proud, very happy what he was doing. And afterwards, after many years, he told me that, no, I think I can't do this character because it is needed as personality. But I said, you have a great personality, you should do the other part of his father. Rama's father was a great king also. So he did many years of his father's part to King Dasharatha, we call him. So like that, he was so much with us, with in their culture. So he was a wonderful person, and not only giving to the ashram and association many things, wonderful things you heard from other friends, what he was doing, what he was giving to the ashram and our family friends. So also there was one good example, I remember one spiritual guru, his name is Guru Karve from Bombay. So he was very divine person. He encouraged him to bring him here all the way, very specially to people to teach him and giving the blessings of the universe. That was another example what he did. So it keeping such a wonderful relation with my culture, my arts. So I remember him so much. And after 2 days when he passed away, and 26th of July, I presented Ramayana and our open air stage. We have a lake stage, very beautiful place. We honored him, and Karmananda, our friend from Ashram, he spoke so wonderful about him, what he was, how great he brought the togetherness of the ashram. And also yesterday, today is the day we are memorialists. So we're celebrating. Yesterday also, I had a big show here in this place. It is called Krishna, the another incarnation of God, Krishna Lila. So in that one also we honored him, and I'm just grateful. I'm just blessings. So sharing this with you all, I hope. So let us pray for peace for his soul. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much.
So are we going to play anything that Carmenanda said or not?
We're not ready for that.
You're not ready? Okay.
Yeah, but first, they want to do that at the end.
Okay. So it's open for any ashram friends that would like to speak, or any patients that would like to speak. Anyone who would like to?
Someone's coming up.
Okay.
That's good. Hello, I am Les Howard. I consider Monroe to be my hometown.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for telling me about it, Joe.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so I was in Monroe for 27 years, left for a brief time, and when I came back, I went to see Scott. That was about a couple of years ago. And I will describe him as the most unique soul I have met. He exuded warmth and love. And you knew right away when you were in his presence that this is a special person. We had a unique relationship, and his sisters will identify with this. I know that Scott's father and uncle, known as the Moss twins, were professional photographers. Well, my father and uncles were all professional photographers, and one aunt. So we uniquely bonded over that. We spoke about growing up with fathers who were professional photographers, holding the slave, the spare light, which every professional photographer from the 60s or 50s knows about. So again, we had a unique relationship, and it seemed to bond us very closely. So I cannot say enough good things about Scott as a practitioner, as a person, as a soul, as a human being. But I will say this in parting: I've been to many doctors in my 81 years, and I have never gone to a doctor that hugged me every time I left. And to me, that's unusually beautiful. Every time we concluded a visit, we hugged each other. So my condolences to everybody. Scott lives on. In my mind, he's not gone.
There's everybody has experience with Scott Moss, all kind of experiences. Very interesting, he fixed everybody, I think, in this ashram, whoever came. He fixed me several times, and I do this music concert here, how aware he was about his job. So I do this all-night music concert. So there was one musician came from India, and he has to run to catch the plane, so he got back problem. And he was a great sarangi player. So when he came here, so Scott saw me, we introduced Scott. Scott said, let me see the time when I can have him. Next day, he comes here and takes him at his office and fix him. And he was able to play in the night. That was a very great example I have. Another great thing I have, when I'm the part of the music school. I'm a co-director for music school, and Roop Vermaji was when here. We were struggling for the space, to have a music space separate. So then when Panini Anik, they gave us a room. It was very noisy. So we were thinking what to do. So then there used to be gift shop upstairs, back of this auditorium. So somehow this idea came to me, and I mentioned to everyone, and everyone said, no, we cannot move gift shop there, because gift shop was divided in a wall, two rooms. So I sit with Scott. I really convinced him. I said, look, music is here. This is gift shop can move to the place where you have music room right now. And somehow he got agree. And he said, okay, we'll do it. So I'm very, very thankful, grateful that he really did it. If he was not here, I don't think so. We have a gift shop as a music room. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Actually, standing here becomes very emotional. We've been holding it together, but my name is Radha. I have been here since 1977. something. I moved here. I first came here from the San Francisco Ashram of Gurujis. I came here in '80. My breath was taken away by the beauty and the opportunity. I moved here from the San Francisco Ashram. Then I've been here ever since. I work for the Publication Trust, among other things. I have a few quotes I'd like to share with you because they're so inspiring. The first, I'll just read it. It describes Kamala Kant's heart. This is from a booklet called Bhakti Yoga, the Philosophy of Divine Devotion. Love sustains the universe, and love is the universe. Love is found in the form of the mutual attraction and gravitation inherent in electrons and protons, in atoms and elements, and in the compound worlds. Love is the individual self, and love is the illimitable universal self. Love is God, and love is liberation. Scott, he's no longer walking because he doesn't have a physical body, but he is, and he is the perfect reflection and example of this love. His giving was selfless. When there was as a leader in the ashram on the board for many, many years, and I was on the board for, I think I counted 40-something years, but math is math and it's past. The point is, Scott, when there was something very difficult to be done, something very quite unpopular to have to represent and put forward into action and change, Scott would stand up. Alone, usually. The rest of the members, who had authorities and roles as well, had a very convenient time with him around because he would fearlessly and selflessly expose himself to difficult reactions and responses and put forward what he knew in his heart was right. He was very close to Guruji in that way. He was willing to sacrifice, and he has. So for that, we should remember his spirit and his courage and stand forth and be free, as he now is, but be present and to take the flag, I'll call it, of what Guruji represented more than any one thing in this world. With that, I forget what it is because I obviously don't have enough of it. Suggestions? Love. Thank you. And unification and fearlessness. That he embodied. That he's left as an example for all of us. I'll add one more quote because I'm from the Publication Trust. So it's inspiring. Again, this is not Guruji's words, but Guruji quotes it in his book Atma Bodh, which is a text very old from Shankaracharya, for those of you who know. This is the final verse in that book. When the experience of the self, the Atman, the I am, arises in the space of one's heart, it is like the sun, S-U-N, of knowledge, which destroys the darkness of ignorance. It shines, that self. It shines all-pervading and all-sustaining, revealing and illuminating the entire inner and outer universe. May we remember Scott always in our hearts. Thank you. Namaste.
Scott has always been here. And he always will. But, you know, part of the spiritual teaching, it seems like, is to prepare for the final act, right? The final act that we will all have at one point in our lives, which is death. So, I'm watching this show right now called The Chosen. I don't know if anybody has watched it, but it's about Jesus and the apostles. And it's really touching for me as I feel really inspired by spirituality and religion and have lots of curiosity around all of these possibilities. And I said to one of my friends, I was like, this is going to sound really weird to you as an outsider, but I feel like I was brought up with somebody like Jesus. Gurgi. Right? And Scott seems like he was one of the apostles. And I didn't choose actively as a youngster to say I wanted to be a healer, but I have followed a healing path like him. And I'm now working with a chiropractor. So, you know, may we all continue his memory as a blessing in embodying the healing practices within ourselves and having them ripple out to the rest of the world, even if we feel like there's hesitancy or we as humans for some reason are wired towards survival, and that I think often blocks us in what we're really meant to be here to do. And so in memory of him, I just ask myself and everyone else, even in the most mundane acts that we have each day, to step forward in our healing practices, even if it's like a very small conversation with somebody that we can see needs to be listened to, right? I'm ad-libbing here, but this strange story comes to mind where I was working in a high school and I saw a student draw a swastika on a desk, and I said, "Oh, what does that symbol mean to you?" And he had this elaborate historical perspective from Eastern religion that was a very positive symbol, and it was flipped, right? And so then because I was sort of in this teaching role, the next day I saw the students, I said, "Okay, I want you to think of one time where you did not speak out for somebody." I used that quote by a pastor that it's not coming to me right now, but it's basically like, first I did not speak out for the labor unionists and then no one spoke, like essentially nobody ended up speaking out. So why is that coming to me? I'm not entirely sure, but I guess it's like, let's all use our voices like Scott, it's like he's this example, I think, for all of us to speak out. Somebody was saying he was Radha, he would speak out in unpopular ways. Like, it takes courage to do those things, and it takes, it's scary to like step forward when it's an unpopular idea. So anyway, may his memory be a blessing, and he's still here, even though he's not in his physical form. And I just appreciate all of these people who have come together, like all the elders that are here. I just want to honor all of you and all of your hard work and dedication to the ashram. And, I'm hoping that we find a way to, like Scott, my uncle, I just spoke to Karmananda, and because I know they were very close, and Karmananda Jeffrey, he was like, the ashram just had a huge loss. I mean, this is like monumental. So, may we all just gather our energy and our courage and stay as a community, even though I'm on the West Coast, like I'm here for however I can be present. And just thank you all for being here. Yeah. Oh, and also, it's Tara's birthday today. So I think Scott would want us to sing happy birthday to her.
Born and dies, but that's not who we truly are. Scott has not died. He's definitely present and will be.
Om Namah Shivaya. My name is Reverend Kim Leslie. I've been attending the ashram for over 30 years, and I have been leading kirtan every Wednesday night for a good few years now, and leading fire ceremonies at the ashram regularly for years. I'm also a musician, and I brought lots and lots of beautiful music to the ashram. It's amazing because I never really got to know Scott until I became a board member. And during this time, which has been just over 2 years, I've got to know him very well. We would be on the phone for hours sometimes. And I was extremely grateful for his input, and he seemed to be pretty grateful for mine. So there was a mutual respect, which I honor and cherish. I am still in shock. I don't know if anyone else is. But I kind of expect him to walk through the door. I'm not over that bit yet. And I just want to announce that I'm just getting over Lyme, so my head is weird. I want to bring you into the moment and the last few hours. I was leading fire ceremony on a Wednesday evening, and Scott didn't regularly come on a Wednesday evening, but that night he did. And he attended some of the fire ceremony, and he chose to stay for kirtan afterwards. And he looked happy, and he was smiling a lot, and he was meditating deeply. And we had some beautiful exchanges, and I would like to say a couple of times he looked on his phone, because he was always looking on his phone because people were always calling him, which is a fond memory. But I feel extremely honored that I was in his presence a few hours before he died. So he sat fire ceremony, he sang kirtan, and then he went home and went to sleep. And a few hours later he passed. So that vision is in my mind and in my heart, and I have said many, many prayers for his spirit and his soul since we got the shock the following day. So, in the Jewish tradition, I would like to sing. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. 'Twas blind, but now, everybody, I see. Trayambakam yajamahe sugandim pushtivardhanam urvarukami bhavandanan mrityor mukshiyamamritat swaha.
Thanks for coming out to celebrate Scott. Scott was an incredible person. Not only was he a friend for 30 years, he had class, he had charisma. He was very giving, kind, extremely informative, knowledgeable, a good listener. He had a big heart, bigger than anybody else here. He could fill this room, with, obviously, by looking at all you people, it says a lot. And may Scott's legacy live through all of you and the way he's touched each and every one of you people. May it be something that you hold dear to your hearts and appreciate everything. Thanks.
Hi. My name is John Mundy. I've been coming here to the ashram since 1978. Actually, I first brought this lady here many, many years ago. Can I say just a word about this lady before I talk about Scott? I used to be a professor at the New School University in New York City, teaching courses in philosophy and religion and psychology. And I noticed one day that there was this woman sitting on the back row of my classes who didn't say anything, but then the next semester she was there again. And the next semester she was there again. It was this lady. And I thought, I better get to know her. So Carol and I have been friends for over 50 years, and I spent a lot of time together. I may have brought her here. I don't know how he came in, but I was the minister of Central Valley United Methodist Church from 1978 through 1989. So came up here every now and then. And yoga has been a very important part of my life for a very long time. I spent time in India with Sai Baba, Muktananda, and Rajneesh, if those names mean anything to you, and was trained in the yoga tradition. Yoga is I did yoga this morning. It's an important part of my life. I just want to say a word about this woman before I say more about Scott. I was so glad when the two of them became close and good friends. I know that they loved each other dearly. Do you know that she has another name besides Naranda and Carol? She went and spent time with the Sioux Indians, and they gave her the name Sweet Medicine. It's true, isn't it? Sweet Medicine?
The Lakota Sioux.
Lakota Sioux. Yeah, right. So I was so happy, as I said, when the two of them hooked up and spent so much time together, and I would come and spend time, and Scott would take me. Just about 3 or 4 months ago, I brought a friend here who was looking about possibly moving here, and Scott and Carol took us around. And the phrase "big heart" is just perfect. I mean, definitely, and big smile and the receptivity. He worked on me a couple of times. Unfortunately, I haven't needed much work. Yoga's a good thing. Kind of can keep you away from it. So somewhere along the way, my tradition became A Course in Miracles, which was something that I got very, very interested in. And now that's what I do primarily, is to teach Course in Miracles work. I love Scott, just like all of you said. He was really a mensch and quite a guy, and so glad he's been part of your life. I would like to read in closing is a passage from the Course. You could hear this as a prayer. This is written by Dr. Helen Schuckman. By the way, Carol told me that when she found Scott, that he had a radiance, what'd you say, on the face? Not smile, but joyful. Joyful. Isn't that interesting? That's a very interesting thing to say, that he was joyful. You know what? When we leave these bodies, we're all going to say, thank God. I mean, really, this is heavy. These are heavy. They're a lot to carry around, a lot to deal with, especially if it's hurt or damaged in some way, and all that. But not just that. You got to brush the teeth every day and take care of it and wash it and feed it and all those things. I mean, it's really a lot. It's very interesting when you study near-death experiences, how many people will say that it's going home. And also on near-death bed experiences, a lot of people will start saying, I want to go home. I want to go home. Helen Schuckman, who was the scribe for A Course in Miracles, said that when they went to see her after she had died, she had a smile on her face. So be glad that we're all going home. Let's celebrate our brother Scott's having gone home, right? I mean, we had a birthday today. He's got a birth freedom from this limitations of space and time, and spirit is now wholly with him. So I want to read this passage. This is from near the end in a section called the Song of Prayer. You might want to close your eyes and hear this as a prayer. You don't have to, but that may be This is what death should be, a quiet choice, made joyful in with a sense of peace because the body has been kindly used to help the Son of God along the way he goes to God. We thank the body then for all the service it has given us, but we are thankful too the need is done to walk the world of limit. We call it death, but it is liberty. It does not come in forms that seem to be thrust down in pain upon unwilling flesh, but is a gentle welcome to release. If there has been true healing, this can be the form in which death comes, when it's time to rest a while from labors gladly done and gladly ended. Now we go in peace to freer air and gentler clime, where it's not hard to see the gifts we gave were saved for us. For Christ is clear now, his vision more sustained in us, his voice, the word of God, more certain than our own. Amen.
For me, he's gone. I called his office just to hear his voice. You have reached the office of Dr. Scott Moss. So my name is Joseph Simone. I've known Dr. Moss for 20-something years. So we've talked about numerous things. So I just want to extend my condolences to Erica and Randy and Artie and Mark. You know, so I've so like I said, I'm Joseph Simone. He has treated my family for 20-something years. He's treated the community here for 40 years. So for me, it's a void for me to think that, and I'm sure we as patients have, at least a lot of people have given back to him, but we've talked about retirement and this and that, and then I'm just saddened, but there wasn't an after Dr. Moss. There would be something else for him. And like I said, I met that gentleman in ShopRite and happened to mention Dr. Moss, and he says, "Oh, I know Dr. Moss and the family." So thank you for being here. What a gift. He introduced me to the ashram, myself and my family. So, you know, we were there, and he's been to our home. And I have a little different experience than what I'm hearing here. We had many a spirited conversation. And he had spoken about his family, he had spoken about the ashram, and spoken about some of the challenges. Okay? Just like in my family, I have an older sister. I had two older sisters, and I have a twin brother. So I don't want to kid ourselves that he ran up against obstacles also. And there were things that Scott was, and there were things that Scott wasn't. So let's not kid ourselves. Just like for myself also. So knowing the impact, that we all have an impact on us, on us and others, pro and con. So there are things that have had a band. Our absence or not, even in my family of origin, as much I'm an Italian family and we're close and stuff, things have transpired, you know. And where our world is today, you know. So, yeah, I'm angry for some reason, and I'm angry at that. I've never seen. I've heard Dr. Moss speak about the challenges. I never saw him angry, and he could have been angry at me at some of the stuff that I did also. But there was a component that we speak of being fully self-expressive, and I just didn't see that, and I felt like I was robbed. And I called him on that. I said, just, you know, there's just more to you. And I want more. There's more. So this aspect that some of my training and stuff is, where is the ruthless compassion? The caring enough to say at times, no, I'm not going to do it. Or I'm not going to answer that call, or whatever. So that's, I'm just confused about, yes, there's a lot of wonderful things, but also there were components of, yeah. What I believe the sister said, May his passing be a blessing. In certain regards, it's like I thought I knew Dr. Moss, but hearing today, especially from the family, no, I didn't know all of him. I didn't. You know, our sister, we lost our sister 2 years ago, and everybody says, oh, Barbara is, they had opinions or whatever. They didn't know my sister. They really didn't know to the degree. Did you ever go to lunch with her? Or whatever. So let's not kid ourselves how much we know of somebody, but there's so much that we don't know. You know, and what has impacted us. And the things, our acts of commission and our acts of omission that are there also. Let's not kid ourselves. You know, I was involved in so one thing that I just thank Dr. Morse for, he was an advocate for not being vaccinated, and I'm so glad that he mentioned that because I didn't get vaccinated and our son didn't get vaccinated. So I'm just glad that he had some alternatives in that regard, and so I'm just so blessed that I didn't introduce some of that stuff into my body. I was involved in 9/11, the day of 9/11, and then the restoration of it, and you know, he was there for me, time and time again. You know, and I won't forget that. So I just wanted to convey that. I know the impact, and I've been here, and he's shared the ashram with me. And so he wasn't just my chiropractor. And for me, chiropractors hold a special place because my dad, when I was 12 years old, couldn't walk. I was told he couldn't walk again. And there was a chiropractor in Manhattan who got him to walk again. So what a gift. So for me, the chiropractics and being an aspect of that. So thank you for sharing a little more about him. But be clear, I didn't know the totality of him. And there was just so much more that I'm angry, and I miss his presence. I can't believe it, I miss his presence. So I just wanted to convey that, and thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just bear with us a few moments while we're experiencing some technical difficulties. Karmananda shared some words about Scott during the Ramayana performance, and there's video of that speech he gave, so we're attempting to find that. So just bear with us for a few moments while we get this sorted. Just bear with us a few moments while we're experiencing some technical difficulties. To find that. Karmananda shared some words about Scott during the Ramayana performance, while we get this sorted. Video of that speech he gave, so we're attempting to find that. So just bear with us for a few moments while we get this sorted. So we're attempting to find that. So just bear with us for a few moments while we get this sorted. Speech again, so we're attempting to find that. So just bear with us for a few moments while we get this sorted.
Unless you guys come to unless this is going to take a few minutes.
Well, it's almost there. And everyone is in break. Because my computer, I don't know what other one
Just restarted. It's restarted. We got some issues and it's taking a long time.
Pull the restart, let us fix these issues. So with my computer, all the dislocations in mine, that was the problem. Okay, now. Right, yeah. I don't have a USB-A port.
You have the A,
Exactly.
Now it's coming up.
There's people that want to come and speak. Still good again?
Yes.
Oh no, it's something else. Yeah, because we don't have to worry about the order of the slideshow.
Slideshow, so not
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but
there's nothing I can do with can do until the computer comes back. So, until it restarts.
Is that good Wi-Fi in here? Does it have good connection in here?
No, it doesn't use Wi-Fi for this.
For those of you streaming at home, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Please bear with us. There will be a performance by Naren and Krishna. In the meantime, please stand by and we'll be back with you shortly.
For those of you streaming at home, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Please bear with us. There will be a performance by Naren and Krishna. In the meantime, please stand by and we'll be back with you shortly.
Bypassing all this. Forget it. It's not happening. Thank you. Sorry.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
It's not happening. Thank you.
Om
Forget it. It's not happening. Thank you.
We are now going to segment. Thank you for listening and allowing others to listen. We're now going to segment to the musical offerings.
Thank you for listening and
Thank you. The musical offerings from Naren Buddhakar, musical and philosophical. He combines them both in a rare beauty. Followed by musical offering by our own Krishna Devi. Thank you. I'm glad we're all enjoying this together. Om Namah Shivaya.
musical and philosophical. Thank you. He combines them both in a rare beauty. We're all enjoying this. Followed by musical offering by our own Krishna Devi. Thank you. I'm glad we're all enjoying this together. Om Namah Shivaya.
Dear pet, not to stress you, but not to stress you, this is too far away. Any chance of using that one? Yeah. Okay. He got it. He got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Naren is going to be chanting for us. So please kindly find your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lower the volume. Naren is going to be chanting for us. So please kindly find your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lower the volume. Naren is going to be chanting for us. So please kindly find your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lower the volume. Naren is going to be chanting
We invite you to please have your seats and Okay, very unusual spirits are here today, seen and unseen, obviously. We're going to segment now to a beautiful portion of our celebration of life of Kamala Kanta. Naren Buddhakar, our resident artist and philosophical teacher, extremely learned man, and humble devotee, will be presenting now for our benefit and to honor our Kamala Kant brother. Meanwhile, we'll try to figure out why we are speaking after one another with only one body. Thank you. Sound problem. Namaste. Meanwhile, we'll try to figure out why we are speaking after one another. We'll be presenting now only one for our benefit. Thank you. Sound problem. Namaste. Meanwhile, we'll try to figure out why we are speaking after one another with only one body. Thank you. Sound problem. Namaste. Meanwhile, we'll try to figure out why we are speaking after one another with only one body. Thank you. Sound problem. Namaste.
Thank you. This will take about 3 or 4 minutes and no more. Two most relevant, beautiful connections that I had with Scott Moss. This great sage, whom we all knew as Yogi Karveji, that Scott considered his spiritual guide and the second guru. If I can request just a little more silence in the audience, I'm just trying to concentrate. Thank you. Scott considered his spiritual guide and the second guru. If I can request just a little more silence. Thank you. There was this great sage whose name was Yogi Karveji, whom Scott regarded as his spiritual guide. That person came from my hometown, and so he spoke my mother tongue, the Marathi, and he barely spoke English. That did not stop him from communicating the most profound things to the rest of the world. But whenever he came here, Scott used to request me to be the translator because I understood his mother tongue. So that was one beautiful spiritual connection. The second one was, as some of you know, I do music, and sometime in the past Scott actually had taken some music lessons with me. And then in the recent past, when I would be practicing upstairs in the music room, 2 or 3 times in the past 2 or 3 months, he just knocked on the door, came inside, and he said he was passing by. He heard my chants and it felt beautiful. And he said at some point he would love to sit and do these chants together. So I said to him, why speak hypothetically and why speak in the future? Let's start right now. But he was a very busy person. He took all responsibilities on his shoulders to spare us. And so unfortunately in his mortal body that did not happen. But because I had shared this story, it was kind of Kiranavali to give me the honor of offering something that Scott would have loved to hear. Just 3 verses. The essence of all of them is that the passing of the mortal body is just the limitation of our perception, but the essence, the soul, is immutable and immortal, and that never passes. That is the essence of all 3 verses. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् न अयं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत देहि नित्यमवोध्योऽहं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि भर्जनं भवबीजानां भर्जनं भवबीजानां मर्जनं सुखसम्पदां मर्जनं सुखसम्पदां तर्जनं यमदूतानां राम रामेति गर्जनं राम रामेति गर्जनं राम रामेति गर्जनं
Thank you, Naren. We will now have Krishna and Dinesh performing for us. So please stay tuned. Coming very shortly. Thank you.
This is for our brother. Sailing free in the sky, flying free in the sky, sailing free, flying free, sailing free in the sky. Love never dies, there's no goodbyes. 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 Sailing free in the sky, flying free in the sky, sailing free, flying free, sailing free in the sky. Our hearts are broken, we are missing you, missing our brother. We are missing, oh we are missing you. Our hearts are broken, we are missing you, missing our brother. We are missing you. Love never dies, there's no goodbye. Missing our brother, there's no goodbyes. Love never dies, there's no goodbyes. Missing our brother, there's no goodbyes. Sailing free in the sky, flying free in the sky, sailing free, flying free, sailing free in the sky. Missing our brother, missing our brother, missing our brother. There's no goodbye. Missing our brother, missing our brother, missing our brother. Love never dies. Hari Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. missing our brother. Oh, we're missing our brother. We're missing our brother. We're missing our brother. We're missing our brother. Oh, we're missing, we're missing you, we're missing you. Just feel the love in your heart. Just for a minute, feel the love. And He's with us. And let Him go freely to fly. Let Him go sail and be with the guidance of our Guruji. And He feel us and He feel our love. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. No. Just. Do you want to do Tvameva Mata, or are you going to say something? Yeah. Tvameva Mata. Okay. Just Tvameva Mata, okay? Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti. Thank you. Om Shanti. Who came today to celebrate the celebration of life of Scott. Beautiful. Just truly, truly beautiful. So, thank you. And the celebration continues. In the dining hall, there's refreshments, and you're certainly welcome to walk down the hill, just past the swimming pool. There's a dining room, and there are complimentary sandwiches, little things to eat. Yeah. But thank you. Really, really wonderful day. Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's also a tradition at the ashram that we have something called prasad, which is a treat after lots of our events. So Scott's sister Brandy brought some, so we have some gluten-free cookies over here, and I brought some. So, feel free to take a little prasad, and then those that can join us, please do down the dining hall. Thank you.
I just want to say goodbye, and I'll see you soon.
And thank you to all of those joining us remotely online. There were a large number of you, so thank you for bearing with us. And hopefully we'll see you here at the ashram soon. Thank you all.
There's also pictures if people want to look at. Want me to say that?